We have discussed along this notion of living in the moment the idea that what you choose your state of being to be is of paramount importance. State of being is the most critical issue, which is why in The Secret it was mentioned that the secret to the secret was simply choosing to be happy. For no other reason other than that is your preferred state of being. Because there is no empirical physical reality, then state of being really becomes the only thing that determines the experience that you have in the idea of physical reality, because that's all it is. It's an experience, it's an idea. That is what is real about it, the experience. But physical reality itself is not real by itself on its own. As you choose the state of being that you prefer, or based on whatever beliefs you have within your physiological mind, personality, structure, as you choose beliefs that determine what your state of being will be, that, of course, is what determines how you experience this idea of yourself called physical reality. Because that's all it is. It's an experience of your own consciousness from a particular point of view, from a particular state of being that generates that kind of an effect within you, that you then call an externalized physical reality. Circumstances in physical reality, thus, are illusionary. They're just symbols. Again, as we have said many times, it's just a reflection based on what you are giving off. Now, The Secret calls this idea law of attraction the primary law. We refer to it as the third law of creation. It is, however, the first law of action, even within the four laws. Because the first law, that you exist, is simply a description of a state of being. The second law, that the one is all, the all are one, is also a description of the nature, of the structure of that state of being. But the third law, what you put out is what you get back, is the first law of action. And that is what is being said and the difference being made in The Secret by calling the law of attraction the first or primary law of the universe. Because it is the first law of action, and it's therefore the first law that actually brings about manifestational experience. Then the fourth law, everything changes except the first three laws, is what qualifies and colors that experience, what allows you different perspectives of the experience of creating the idea of physical reality. You will remember that what was also very important in The Secret was this idea that we talked about before about being passionate as expressed in the concept of play, of playing with everything that happens in your reality, really having an attitude of gratitude toward it so that you receive every experience you have in a playful way, and thus by receiving it in that playful way can do that much more with it, be that much more creative with it, allow it to be that much more flexible, malleable, stretchable, changeable, formable. Play. That energy is what allows physical reality to become like clay. So play with the clay of physical reality. If you approach it from an energy state of being, that is of a lower vibration, that's when the clay hardens. That's when it's unchanging in that state. But as soon as you start to be more playful with what's going on in your life, it softens and becomes clay-like, plastic, malleable, formable, changeable again, and gets in step with the fourth law, as you do. Change is the only constant. So in that sense, when you become more playful, you become more changeable. And as a result, your physical reality will mirror that changeability. Become easier to transform from one kind of reflection to another. Now, very important, very important, very important. This is where physical mind, once again, can sometimes get caught up in its own sense of control. And that is that when we talk about the idea that what you put out is what you get back, the physical mind, because, again, of how it looks at physical reality being the only thing there is, will assume that if it doesn't see an exact one-to-one reflection in the circumstances that surround you with what it is you believe you're giving off, you will think that something has failed. Again, I remind you, this is where you get caught in your own paradoxical trap. Even though it is true that what you put out is what you get back, and that by being in a certain state of being, that will determine what the circumstances around you are, the first stage of that, the first manifestation of that will be usually, especially in your world of space and time, usually the first reflection will look the same as it used to. Because this gives you an opportunity to reinforce the state of being by responding to the circumstances that look the same differently than you did before. And that is where you then allow the circumstances to truly reflect that you have changed and demonstrate that you truly have changed by responding to the circumstances differently, even if they look the same as they used to. That's how it works. So the first reflection will usually be an echo of how it used to look. You must not respond to the echo as if that's the representation of your new state. You must respond to it, in a sense, as if you know it's just an echo, and that what you're putting out now, the new response to the old circumstances, that will solidify the vibration of your preferred state of being and truly allow the circumstances to change themselves and take their cue from the new vibration you're putting out, which is the absolute certainty that you are different. Because if you respond to the old echo in the same way you used to, you are not different. So in a sense, it's like you're testing yourself. It's like you're giving yourself an opportunity to decide whether you really do want the circumstances to change by first presenting yourself very often with the same set of circumstances to see if you respond differently to them, making a clear commitment that you have, in fact, vibrationally changed your state of being. Once you have then done that and respond differently to the same set of circumstances, then you have established that you truly have changed, and then the circumstances can reflect that change. So don't be fooled by the echo into thinking you've done something wrong by labeling it in the same way you used to. Oh, I didn't see what I wanted to get immediately. It looks the same as it did before. The same people are here giving me the same kind of feedback. I must have done something wrong, or something's not working. Or you find that you're reacting to it in the same way you used to, because if you do, you have not changed. So that's the self-reinforcing mechanism that gives you the opportunity to decide whether you really want to change that circumstance or not. Because again, remember, all belief systems by definition are self-reinforcing. They have to be. If belief systems were not self-reinforcing and making themselves seem like the only thing there is to believe in, you wouldn't be able to have an actual distinct, discrete belief system experience. If beliefs did not come with a self-reinforcing mechanism, you wouldn't be able to have a discrete physical experience. And because they come with a self-reinforcing mechanism, when you change your vibrational state, one of the last things to fade will be the self-reinforcing mechanism. It will present the same scenario to you once again, but it will be presented not as a concrete reality, but only as an illusion, only as an echo of what was, to give you a chance to really decide that you will break through that self-reinforcing mechanism by defining and labeling it differently than you used to, proving that you have changed, thus allowing the reflection to then truly come. That's how that works. Use that mechanism to your advantage by understanding very clearly. And if you wish to use this almost as a mantra, you certainly may. Again, as we discussed last night, all of these things are nothing more than permission slips that, if you decide they work for you, if you decide they resonate according to your frequency, will simply allow you to permit yourself to change in the way you prefer to. The mantra doesn't do it for you. It simply is a reflection of the belief system within you that says this is what you will allow to give you permission, to give yourself permission to change in the way you wish to. So use this as a mantra if you wish, if it works for you, knowing that you're doing it if you need it at all. And that is, again, the idea, not even so much the statement that circumstances do not determine state of being. State of being determines circumstances. Now, you can use that. However, we would also suggest something even simpler and something even stronger. And that is simply, and the mantra is this: circumstances don't matter. Only state of being matters. And again, listen to the way that this synchronistically translates in your English language. Circumstances don't matter. They do not create materialization. Only state of being matters. Only state of being materializes experience. So, the mantra is, anytime you find yourself doubting, stuck, fearful, because of what you believe the situation is, what you believe the circumstances are, you can, if you wish, use this little reminder. Circumstances don't matter. Only state of being matters. And then choose the state of being you prefer. And then redefine the circumstances from that state of being, so that you can erase the echo and allow the true reflection to then take form from your state of being. Circumstances don't matter. Only state of being matters. Now, we apologize if what we are about to do with you, to some of your physical minds, may sound, a little cultish. It isn't meant this way. It's simply meant to express to you something very important. It's one thing very often to your physical minds when you hear someone else's voice say something. It's another when your own voice says it. So, repeat out loud after me. Circumstances don't matter.
Circumstances don't matter.
Only my state of being matters.
Only my state of being matters.
Now, do it with excitement in a calm way. Because what this begets is simple certainty. Repeat. Circumstances don't matter. Only my state of being matters. One more time. Circumstances don't matter. Only my state of being matters. One more time. Circumstances don't matter. Only my state of being matters. Understand. When you say this to yourself in your own vibrational voice, you will start to listen. Because what you're doing by making this statement is what we talked about earlier. You are voicing a message from the higher self in language the physical mind understands. This mantra and all mantras of this nature are exactly that kind of tool. It is a way of translating for the physical mind in terms it can understand a communication from the higher self. That's why they're powerful, if you agree that it's a permission slip that works for you. So, anytime you find yourself in doubt, in fear, confused about the circumstances going on, stop. Say to yourself, out loud, no matter how many people might think you're crazy. Yes, of course, yes, of course, yes, of course, you can say it inside your head if you wish to. But if you're really being bold, and if it's really important to you to have the reality you prefer, then make a commitment and say it out loud. You don't have to shout, you don't have to scream. But stop and say, circumstances don't matter. Only my state of being matters. What state of being do I prefer? Then choose. And as you choose, behave that way toward the circumstances. You will be amazed at how quickly it will evaporate. You will take people off guard. At the very least, they might say, "Oh, she's crazy," and move away. And then you won't have to deal with them anymore. So one way or another, it will create the bubble reality of your preferred vibration, and will act as an organizing principle and driving engine to move out of that bubble any vibration that is incompatible. It is one of the strongest, most centering statements you can make for yourself. Circumstances don't matter. Only my state of being matters. What state of being do I prefer? Then behave that way. That's all there is to that idea of centering. That's all there is to the idea of redefining, re-identifying yourself, and remaining on the cutting edge, the leading edge, the crest of the wave of the transformation. That's really all it takes. Now, to whatever degree your physical mind's belief system will allow you to believe that is your process to work on, if such a process is even needed. But I guarantee you, if you can truly, as you say, get into the absolute certainty of that statement, if you can truly understand that it is a true message from your higher self in physical mind terminology, and you truly pay attention to it, don't just get caught up in rote repetition until your voice becomes a droning thing you no longer hear. But when you truly say it in your own voice and truly listen to your own voice and pay attention to the vibration of your own voice saying it, you will hear the truth in it. And as soon as you really hear the truth in it, you will feel your entire physical being go, "Oh, I don't have to try so hard. It doesn't matter what the circumstances are. Only my state of being matters. Oh, joy." What is this feeling? What is this feeling? Oh my gosh, it's so foreign. Joy? Unbridled, unconditional love and joy. I'm tingling. You know, I like this sensation. I think I'll create more of it. Now, then. We love your paradoxical language. No wonder you're so confused. Now, then. Now or then? All right. You're talking to your own higher mind right now. It's just that we are happy to function as a mask, as a filter, in a sense, as a flavor for you to let it be all right to talk to your own higher mind through us. But you're actually speaking with your own higher mind right now.
Yes, I actually had that experience last night. I realized I was talking to my higher self.
Yes,
Yeah.
well, there you go.
Okay.
Well, you still are.
Okay, the problem that I'm here to ask you about.
You mean a challenge?
Oh, yeah, a big challenge is.
All right, big challenge, but a big challenge doesn't mean it has to be defined as a problem. That's what we're saying.
Well, it's a struggle.
That's all right, it doesn't have to be.
I wish I could choose it not to be, but.
You can choose it not to be.
It's easier said than done.
That's a belief.
Okay, can I just ask my question?
Yes, you can.
I'm just curious if you could remember back to when your people, your species went through this change that we're going through, how you lived your life at the same time. I'm finding a lot of pain involved in letting go of old concepts.
The only reason you would have pain in letting go of old concepts is you don't believe that you need to let them go. You believe they're serving you still. Remember, you hold on to nothing that you don't actually believe is somehow serving you. No matter how painful they may be to hold on to, what you're actually saying is the alternative is worse.
How do I get to the bottom of how it's serving me?
Very good question. And here's how you can do it, at least one way. The idea is to understand what we have called the motivational mechanism. Again, please understand, this is automatic for everyone. There is absolutely nothing you really need to do to make this work. It's already working. You just have to allow yourself to understand how it works so that you can use it in a way that you prefer to, instead of using the mechanism in a way that you don't prefer. You follow me so far?
Yes.
All right. The motivational mechanism is simply this. And I mean there are no exceptions to this. Not even you. You follow me?
Yes.
All right. You will always, immediately, automatically move in the direction of what you believe to be in your best interests. You will always immediately and automatically move away from what you believe is not in your best interest. Knowing that, that should tell you something. If you are holding on to something that you know intellectually is not in your best interests, and you understand the motivational mechanism I just described, the only way that that could stick around is if you have defined it in the motivational mechanism as actually being in your best interest more than the alternative. Or vice versa, you have defined the thing that you say you prefer as actually somehow being more scary, more fearful than the thing you don't prefer. And so you're so afraid of the thing you do prefer for some reason, based on some belief you're holding on to, that you're willing to put up with the pain and struggle of the thing you don't prefer just because it's more familiar. Just because it feels safer, because you're so much more scared of the thing you don't know about.
And
Does this make some sense?
Oh, yeah, I've heard this many times from you. But how
but
do
it's not sinking in.
I can't figure it out. How do I move forward? I want to move forward so bad.
Well, you have to find out what it is you're holding on to. How you've heard us give the example of the idea of how people on your planet are raised with different definitions of money.
Yes.
Can you apply that idea to yourself at all about the contradictory beliefs that you are raised with that create conflict within you until such time as you actually consciously identify those beliefs? Because only by consciously identifying them can you let them go. If you don't know what they are, you have nothing to work with.
I know what my beliefs are. I guess I feel like I'm swimming upstream. Like
I don't care what you feel like.
Like my ego's
I understand what you feel like. But again, remember, the feeling only comes because you believe something to be true. You can't have a feeling without believing something to be true first. So if you have a feeling you're swimming upstream, you have got to be defining something in your life in that way. You yourself said it a moment ago. Easier said than done. These are just belief systems. They're not empirical truths. There is absolutely nothing about the phrase easier said than done that is an absolute law of creation. It's you that is giving it solidity by believing in that idea. You're the one giving it form. You're the one giving it shape for some reason. Find out what the reason is why you are buying into those kinds of limiting ideas that produce struggle, strife, pain. Remember, pain is resistance to the natural self. So what is it about being your true natural self? What is it about the thing you prefer to be that is so much scarier than what you're already holding on to that you don't prefer? What would be the worst, most terrifying thing you can imagine would happen if you actually let go of all of these fears and negative definitions and actually allowed yourself to be who you preferred to be? What would be the scariest thing that you imagine might happen if you did that?
Yeah, I wouldn't know who I am anymore.
Now, all right, very good.
Yeah.
Now, why would you assume that to be true?
Because I define myself from my experiences and all the people around me. And if I move on to a whole different belief system,
Yes.
I'll kind of be out there by myself.
Well, may I ask you a question?
Yes, please.
Haven't you ever moved from one belief system to another ever in your life?
Yes.
Well, was that a problem for you?
Well, it was, but when I got there, I was okay.
So what makes you think it's not going to be okay again? How many examples of doing that do you need before you get the point that it's always okay?
Okay.
How many times do you have to give yourself that symbol, that reflection, before you know it will actually always be okay? How many times? It's up to you. I'm not pushing you. How many times have you already done it?
Innumerable, and it's been very painful. So maybe I'm getting from you, if I just kind of let go with it, the pain will kind of go away too.
It will not kind of go away.
It will.
It won't exist in the reality of the person that you actually prefer to be, because by definition, that person doesn't experience pain and struggle and resistance.
Okay.
You see, you have to watch your definitions. You have a definition that says, if I become who I prefer to be, there's something about that that's going to be painful. But if you actually listen to what you just said, you would realize that that's nonsensical. How could becoming who you prefer to be contain a definition of being something that is not what you prefer?
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
Your definitions are muddled. That's where you're having the difficulty. You're not listening to the definitions you're actually using to define who it is you prefer. You're creating your own contradictory definitions about who that person is. If that really is the you prefer to be, it cannot, by definition, contain the elements of negativity that you're describing. Otherwise, it can't be that you. It wouldn't be that you. It would make no sense. So what you're defining is someone that isn't who you prefer to be. But when you define clearly who it is you do prefer to be, and you allow yourself to be that person, it will not contain anything that is irrelevant for that particular person. Your life is negative.
And I don't want to live in that other world emotionally
Then
anymore.
don't.
Okay, how?
Again, when you say real life,
Which means going to work and all that.
so
business,
what?
yeah.
Does that just mean that you're not doing what you love to do?
No, I like it, but it's so different. It has a different feel to it, you know?
Then you're not doing what you love to do.
I mean, I'm really happy that I go to work. I'm like, I like my job, but I just
Do
feel so
you
unhappy.
do what you love to do or not? Yes
I know you've
or
had this
no?
conversation a lot. Okay, I used to really love it then. Okay.
Is there something else you would rather be doing?
I'd like to be retired, yeah, and pursue this kind of life all the time where I'm just happy.
Well, why not do that?
That's the hard part, I guess. Okay.
Why are you saying that's hard? You're the one making it harder.
Yeah, you're right.
There is nothing empirically true that what it is you prefer to do has to be hard in the way that you mean it. Yes, of course, there will always be some challenge. Yes, of course, you might have to actually take some actions and do things. But if it's truly a labor of love, it won't feel like a labor. It will be a joy.
Okay. But
Are you picking up on this?
very much so. And I just got. Do you understand?
When
how,
you say very much so,
So.
unless you actually exhibit the behavior that goes along with it, it's not very much so. Remember, action and knowing are synonymous. So if you're not actually acting like it, you don't know it yet. Do you have a small object, coin, pen, anything at all that you can put in your hand, piece of jewelry?
Yes, I have one now.
Put it on the floor. Did you do it?
Yes.
Pick it up. Did you do it?
Yes.
Action and knowing are synonymous. What you know you can do, you just do. You don't think about it. You didn't go, I believe I can pick it up. I think I can pick it up. I'm not sure. Might be hard to bend over and pick that up. Not necessarily as easy as it sounds, perhaps. Oh, let me think about all the different things that could happen between here and picking it up. You didn't do any of that. You just picked it up because you innately knew in every fiber of your being that you could. Action and knowing are synonymous. So when you say, oh yes, I get it, but you're not doing it, you don't get it. You don't know it yet. So when you act like you know it, you will know it. And when you know it, you will act like you know it. Is this making some sense?
Perfect. I totally understand it. Can I just
Do
say
you?
one more thing? I do, but moving away from all the people I work with, my family, all my friends.
So what?
And was that easy for you to do when you had to do it?
I never had to do it.
But your kind went through this progression, right?
Not as much as your society, no.
Ah, okay.
But we understand the concept and have incarnations in realities, such as yours, that do go through those things, which is what gives us the understanding of those concepts. Otherwise, it would be too alien to us.
Because
Nevertheless, the idea is that when we allow ourselves to know that everything is neutral and doesn't have built-in meaning, and we supply the meaning that we prefer, we always get the effect that we prefer regardless of what's going on around us. So when we know that the things and opportunities that are presented to us in our lives are always there, always, without exception there, for us to put a positive meaning into them and get a positive effect out of, because that's our choice, then we know that that's all we will experience. And therefore, what hesitation would we ever have to move forward when we know that everything we will ever do, no matter how challenging, will always only be experienced in a positive and joyful way, because that's our choice.
And even this day, I mean, I knew I wasn't going to come here, and I woke up and I said, I have to go see Bashar because I'm going to get called. I'm going to get this opportunity. And
well,
I did.
There you go.
And I was like, I wasn't even surprised, but no one who I know would understand that way of thinking. And I
Do
see
you
them
understand this way of thinking?
Do I know it?
Now you can't say that anymore.
I see everyone suffering around me, and I can't help them.
So what?
Just let them.
You understand this very importantly. By staying in your fear, you're not helping them. By moving into your joy is the only way you can help them, because you're giving them an example to let them know they could choose to live in their joy too. But if you don't live in your joy, you never give them the chance to see that it can be done.
Thank you. That really helps me.
G'day, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
How you going?
Perfect, and you?
Yeah, going really good. Really excited to chat to you.
All right, please begin however you so desire.
Hey, yeah, I wanted to ask a few questions. Like, one of the questions was kind of to do with about knowingness.
Yes?
And you've said before that I think you're referring to us too, but you say you know what you need to know when you need to know it.
Yes.
Um,
You are gaining experience with that idea so that you don't necessarily have to use the concept of memory in the way that you've been using it. You will know through synchronicity exactly what you need to know, exactly at the moment you need to know it. Not a second before, but not a second later. This will become more common as your species accelerates its vibration.
all right. So I wanted to kind of put that to the test to understand the parameters of how that worked a bit more. And like, so like it might be the case that because you've already pointed it out, in given circumstances,
Yes.
the relevant information will come through, as you stated. But I was going to say, like, let's say if you were in a circumstance where there was a hard drive and you couldn't recover the password through conventional means,
Yes.
could you use your intuition and your knowingness to understand what the password was?
You could, and all you have to do that is continue down whatever path you are capable of continuing down that represents following the formula, acting on your highest passion to the best you can, with no insistence or assumption as to what the outcome is going to be, and remaining in a positive state, no matter what happens. That is the state of being that will allow, if it's relevant, you to have that information. If you are doing that, following that formula as precisely as you can, and that information doesn't come, that should be your first clue that you don't actually need it in the way you think you do.
Right, so it actually serves you to maybe not have the information in some context as well.
Sometimes, or again, you're simply giving yourself the opportunity to practice getting it in a different way. But following the formula is the way that will let you know whether or not that information is relevant for you. Because if it is, nothing will stop it when you're in that state.
Right. And what I also wanted to ask too, because you proposed the challenge about the collective consciousness of the SSRNI has the information regarding a title of a transmission. And so I wanted to sort of asking with knowingness as well, what if, does there have to be a reference point of where you're actually tuning in to get the information? Or can you just have a knowingness in general? Like,
You can in general, but we have given this idea of this interaction in this way to have a little bit of fun with all of you, to have you play a little bit. So you don't have to focus on it too strongly. Just go with the flow and see what comes up when you think about that idea.
For that particular, yeah. Right, because I was thinking about, like, if you had like a circuit board, did you need to be like a stone speaker, so to speak, and understand the mineral consciousness to have that talk to you?
We did not offer you an interactive opportunity that would be that difficult.
Oh, yeah, cool. And also, just on another topic, I wanted to sort of talk about how Willa was going and what in Willa's timeline.
Yes.
What kind of technological manifestations does she have upline, like that they exhibit, that you'd be excited to talk about that's different to now?
Well, there are many, many, many. But of course, remember that we are far beyond that technology as well. She is 700 years ahead of you, but our civilization is 3,000 years ahead of you. Nevertheless, there are many things that are existing in Willa's timeline that are quite wonderful. The idea of what we have referred to before as the Shadok. Do you know that or remember that?
Can you please re-explain Shadok?
It sort of looks loosely like the idea of what you might refer to as your Stonehenge. But as you pass between the upright stones, it's a teleport system that takes people anywhere on the planet in the blink of an eye.
Oh, wow. And that takes their physicality there as well?
Yes, literally. A teleport system.
Whoa. And that's possible?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Um,
Now, it doesn't operate the way your scientists might think it does. It operates in a very different way. It operates more similarly to the idea we have described about how our spacecraft go from star to star in the blink of an eye. It's a very different principle than what many of your scientists are thinking about at this point. But by Willa's time, they have understood this idea and have incorporated it into a teleportation system around the planet.
And what do they use to facilitate, and what do the Essassani or the Sasanian people use to facilitate? Do you still use electricity, or is there other forms of technology that you use?
There are other forms. There are many other forms. We can use sometimes what is called positronic energy. We can utilize what many people on your planet are beginning to refer to as zero-point energy. Now, there can be electrical side effects to many of these things, but it doesn't necessarily mean that only electricity is involved.
Is there anything inherently negative about using electricity? Or
no, not inherently. It just depends upon the frequencies that you choose to create that determine whether it is in harmony or in dissonance to the vibrations of your bioelectric and biomagnetic fields of your bodies. It's all about resonance. It's all about harmonics. It's not about the thing necessarily itself. It's how you use it.
And how has that changed the effects to nature by having teleportation? How has that influenced the planet?
Well, again, it is totally in harmony with it because it's using natural principles. It's not a technology that in any way, shape, or form has any detrimental side effects.
Oh, right. And is that facilitating greater ability to care for nature or greater...
Oh, well, yes, but in Willa's time, remember that they have long since deconstructed and restored the planet to a much more natural state. There is actually, in their understanding of history, after the hybrids land and start living among you, there will literally be, from your point in the future, but from their point in the past, there will literally be a period of time referred to as deconstruction and restoration of the planet.
Yeah, that's really exciting and amazing.
Yes.
Well, maybe sort of slightly related to this, I wanted to ask, do hybrid... how could that look that... So we are, as we are now, and then we could possibly moving into the 6 hybrid race.
That will happen eventually, yes. Willa is in the process of that. Her time period is in the process of becoming the 6th hybrid race, much farther along than what you are right now.
Oh, right. And do they utilize... there was a questioner that came on, I think, last year, and he... you and him had a discussion about mathematics with geometric shapes.
Yes, we interpret the idea of scientific principles more through the idea of geometric symbols rather than through the idea that you use of mathematical notation.
And it sounded very advantageous. You was talking about a tetrahedron and that you could actually do physics in a greater way. And I was wondering if, do hybrid children, are they taught mathematics with geometric shapes, or are they...
They're taught many different things, and again, because they have to blend into your society, it might be to their advantage for some of them to be excited about learning mathematical notation. Others may be more excited about the geometric form, and others may be more excited about other forms from other cultures as well. So it just depends upon the proclivity of the particular hybrid child as to what they are attracted to by acting on their passion.
And so is that all being... I mean, there could be lots of beings involved in this orchestration. Is that
Which orchestration are you referring to? The hybridization agenda?
Yeah, or the teaching as well. So you've stated that the first ones will be the Yael. Is it that?
No. The Yael will be the first hybrids that might make open contact with Earth, but the Shalanaya are the hybrid children that will eventually come to live among you physically on the Earth.
Shalanaya. And are they, so is that the genetics of our current human society? Is that, what's that mixed with? Or?
The Greys, which are other mutated humans, and a smattering of other extraterrestrial beings throughout the cosmos.
And so to speak, is that going on right now?
Oh, yes, it's been going on for quite some time. Has shifted now from the idea of the extraction of genetic material into the education of the hybrid children to allow them to practice learning how to live among you. So now it's gone into the acclimation phase.
And so this society that you indicated that Willa was moving towards, is that the same as saying the new Atlantis?
Well, you can call it that if you wish, but it's far beyond that idea. The idea of going into the sixth hybrid race, with Willa and a few others being the seeds of the seventh, is the idea of the hybrid races, all of them, blending into something that we call the Anuhet, which is the seventh hybrid race, which is very different than any of the other six, and will establish the idea of an interstellar alliance that will last for 100,000 years.
And so I wanted to, with the Anuhet, I wanted to ask, like, in creation, is there new existential realities that are kind of like things that are new to creation itself, or all that is actually aware of the Anuhet? Because you've already stated that there are...
Yes, of course. In that sense, remember, everything exists all at once. What is, to use your word, new, are the perspectives and experiences of the existence of all that is. So the structure never changes. Everything that exists or will exist already exists now. But the experience of it, the perspective of it, that is what changes constantly and expands the idea of creation. So in a sense, yes, the Anuhet already exist, but the experience of what that means, in a sense, is a new creation, just to use loose terms.
Wow, so we could be in for a really exciting ride, seeing that unfold.
Oh, absolutely. Nothing less than.
And that's what you're involved with too, right?
Yes, or we wouldn't be talking to all of you.
Yeah. And so your reality's, like, even though you've stated that it's 10 times faster, is it still concurrent to us? But I guess that doesn't matter to say that, because you've said that
it doesn't matter. A vibration of violet light is a higher frequency than a vibration of red light, yet they are concurrent in your rainbow.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And how did it, like, so how does creation facilitate the interaction of, because
creation doesn't facilitate. Existence just is. All of the different combinations of everything it can be are, in a sense, by the nature of what they are, by the nature of the frequency they operate on, self-facilitating. Everything simply goes to the level that the vibrational frequency is representative of. So it's not like creation is directing anything. Existence is just what it is. But every manifestation, every variation, every conceivable arrangement within it is self-facilitating simply by the fact that everything exists on a different resonant frequency level.
I just thought it was really exciting that there could even be the concept that the Greys could have interaction with us. Like, I thought that was, so that's you've just already sort of stated how that could be. Yes. So.
Well, yes, they use their technology to tunnel into different parallel realities, including yours, where human DNA was still viable because they had lost the ability to reproduce, being that they used to be another version of Earth and they used to be human. But they mutated themselves because of different things that they chose to do in their technology that destroyed their version of Earth and made them incapable of reproducing.
And so this is a Vesica Pisces third reality where we've interacted with the Greys, rather than it being one where that hasn't happened. So out of all the spectrum of...
Yes.
Oh, right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And in old Atlantis, like, were there genetic modifications? Like,
there were.
Is a mermaid is that being actually created from? Are they real creations from?
They were to some degree experiments in genetic manipulation, but the idea in your present day is a representation of an elemental being that doesn't really exist in your dimension exactly, though it can from time to time make itself appear in your reality. But they don't actually live in your ocean in physical reality.
Oh, right. And talking about elemental beings, I wanted to ask, like, with the 5G technology and non-ionizing radiation, I wanted to ask, because you stated that if it's in phase with itself,
if it's tuned properly, yes.
tuned properly. I wanted to know what nature consciousness and the elementals thought of there being lots of possible non-ionizing radiation, is that considerable to it or negligible to it? Like, does it care?
It depends on the elemental being and the purpose for which they might interact with that kind of energy. We have to take it on a case-by-case basis.
Case by case. Yeah, because I thought that was. Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm going to quickly jump to another question.
All right, but this will be brief because we must move on.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time. So I wondered about moldavite and blue moldavite, if it had been discovered, and how moldavite relates to Orion, Maldek, Mars, and Earth.
There is a vibrational relationship because it has been in space and represents a certain reflection of a cycle or a lineage from ancient Orion to Maldek to Mars to Earth. So there is some connection, although it represents other things as well. But this is a longer story than we have time to go into now.
No problems. And thank you so much for this manifestation and chatting with you. It's been a real honor.
It is our passion and our pleasure. We thank you. Good day.
Good day. Highest and best.
Aveo. And to you, good day.
Greetings, Bashar, from the Pandemic Center of New York City.
Oh, all right. How exciting for you.
It was, but it's very intense.
Yes.
And then today I have 3 topics to discuss with you.
All right. Speak up.
Sure. The first topic is my near-death experience.
How exciting. Do tell.
It was super intense. And then
you like that word, don't you? Intense.
It is very intense.
Oh, all right, if you say so.
I would like to express my gratitude for all the spirit guides during this process, like Anubians and Kukumas. So how did they know each other?
Well, it depends. Can be part of a soul family, can simply be part of an agreement to assist certain kinds of beings in a certain way. It can be many different reasons that they might interact.
I see. So I feel like this virus actually transformed me. I'm the ground zero of.
Well, in a sense, yes. It's one of the opportunities that it presents to people on your planet to allow themselves to be transformed in a way that might accelerate them toward more of who they wish to be.
So does that mean I'm kind of mutating right now because of the virus?
In a sense, yes, although not necessarily directly because of the virus in terms of a causal way, but in the sense that you're willing to allow yourself to alter your frequency and thus your genetics in response to the reflection brought about by the virus.
So during this process, I constantly seeing the triangles, and particularly, well, I didn't do that on purpose, but...
No, but it's a representation of stability.
I see. And then particularly, I also saw the black triangle with the blue light in the background. I'm just wondering, did I get any help from your civilization?
Well, you're tapping into the collective consciousness, so you're doing that to aid and assist yourself, which is perfectly fine. That's why we gave that symbol to all of you, so that you could tap into our collective consciousness and assist yourselves in the stabilization process when you go through these challenges.
So during this challenge, I was informed by my higher self that I will be part of the artificial intelligence. So it shows me that there's a very long hose. It's like connected to the machine and then attached to my third eye. And then my higher self said, do not be afraid of the machine. I'm wondering how it works.
Well, that's a symbolic representation using symbols that exist in your physical mind to represent what's going on in energy in a higher dimension. It's not a literal machine.
I see.
But it's a way of understanding that you are giving yourself an opportunity to connect more strongly to your higher mind, which is very similar to the idea that people on your planet refer to as higher or artificial intelligence.
So, in other words, I'm not going to get another implant.
No.
I see. That also leads to the next question is the hybrid children and the ships.
Yes.
So during this process, I saw that my third eye was widely open. And then I saw this little boy wobbling and very happy walking toward me. And
Yes.
the little boy, is that the hybrid kid I'm going to meet in the future?
Possibly. There's a high probability, although it's not absolutely definite yet, because many things have to change first before these things become completely crystallized. But the probability is high, yes.
Can I know the percentage?
Above 80.
Wow. Does he has a name yet?
Toying with one. Not sure yet. Could be something similar to either saffron or something of a spice that has a kind of strong effect.
Wow. Definitely, I will look forward to it.
All right.
So I have very intense dreams, and then
There's that word again.
yes, it's very synchronized.
Do you spend a lot of time camping? Since you like to be in tents so often?
Kind of.
All right.
So I'm.
Please do remember, it's all right for things to be intense. Challenges can be intense, but please, as a reminder, don't automatically assume that intense is negative.
It's very exciting,
All right.
and I have so much fun with riding these rabbits.
All right. So do continue.
This girl, she dressed up like a maverick magician, and then she installed an eye of discernment on my right eye. I'm wondering how that works.
This experience you had where, when, how?
It was in a dream,
Yes.
and then she told me that she's gonna show me something she found from the Grand Central Station. So it was like a ring, and the ring keeps spinning and spinning. And eventually, there's a green laser light out of the ring, and then it forms a green shape of an eye, and then all of a sudden it pops.
All right. These are simply energetic adjustments that the beings you are working with on another level are helping to make in your energy, to help align you, to help connect you more strongly. So you're simply remembering in certain symbolic form some of the adjustments to your energy that are being made with the assistance of other beings that you are interacting with on that level.
I see. Another experience was like in the dream realm. I was beamed into a ship, but this ship is actually quite different. It's actually like a museum,
Yeah.
very classic looking. And then I was informed that I should put my hand into the black box to draw an animal for the spiritual companionship.
Yeah.
So the one I picked up is actually the caterpillar from Alice Wonderland. I wonder how that.
All right.
Well, again, you are allowing yourself to recognize the symbol of your own transformation, because the caterpillar changes into the butterfly, which is the very strong symbol in your collective consciousness of transformation from a lower vibration to a higher vibration.
And then last month, a few weeks ago, I put a contact crystal by my window, and I saw a very big orb. It's very neon and white flying by my window.
Yes.
And I'm wondering who that was.
A spirit guide.
Is that the tall white?
No, a spirit guide,
Oh,
not an extraterrestrial. A spirit guide.
I got you. And then I was so excited to, one night, also during the pandemic, I saw more than 30 ships, and they're popping out of the cloud. And then,
Well, there's a lot of traffic around you all the time. It's just that as you raise your frequency, your senses become more capable of perceiving what's going on all around you. They become visible.
so they're flying toward east to Long Island. I'm wondering what.
There's a lot of traffic going here and there, to and fro, for a variety of reasons. I can't list them all. Some of them are simply on their own business. Some of them are observing. Some of them are connecting. Some of them are helping. It just depends. But all I'm saying is, if you all really get to the point where you raise your frequency to allow your senses to become more capable of perceiving things on higher frequency levels, you will realize that there are many, many things, many ships, many beings, many different kinds of manifestations passing through your reality overhead all the time, and even through your planet all the time. It just becomes sort of more like you're living right next to an airport.
Yes, and then also I'm so grateful for the moon meditation from Sedona last year.
Yes, well, it is our pleasure to deliver suggestions for permission slips that your imagination can alter in whatever way, shape, or form works best for you.
And then after the meditation, I do it myself, and the moon started turning to a smiley face. And then every time I look at the moon, meditate with it, and there's a different being talking to me.
All right. So you're using that as a reflective permission slip.
So it's a reflection.
Everything is a reflection.
That's
Remember, physical reality isn't real. It's a mirror.
So the third topic is the non-physical energy. And just through synchronicity, I have been come across lots of tetrahedrons. And then our physicists saying that one group of them, they said if we keep cutting the physical reality to the smallest, it's actually like a triangle crystal.
Is like a tetra.
Darryl, say good day to you all this day of your time. How are you all? All right. All right, thank you. So, what's new? Anything changed this fall? No? All right. We understand, as we have said, that this would be the fall of 2016 where everything would change, and I think perhaps many of you actually believe us now. The idea, however, is that, as we have said many times, the circumstances themselves aren't the issue. Your state of being always remains the issue. How you respond to what happens is far more important to how you experience your reality than what is actually happening. The idea is to always, as we have also said, make sure that you always allow yourself the opportunity to give the circumstances that do occur a positive and beneficial meaning for you, even if you recognize that there may be things within whatever happens that you don't necessarily prefer. The fact that it happens can still be used by you in a positive way to propel you forward in the way that you actually prefer to be propelled, in the direction you actually prefer to go. You can allow yourself the opportunity to begin to recognize how to look at recent circumstances in a positive way that will allow you to receive a benefit no matter what anyone else chooses to experience. Now, we understand that a lot of you, as you say in your language, are freaking out. But again, there is many, many things that can occur still. Many things are, as you say, up in the air. The greatest effect here is the effect that you call shock and disorientation. But this can be a positive thing if you use it that way. For you are literally now in a place where you are disoriented from your previous reality. You are floating in limbo, many of you. And this is an opportunity for you to create a new reality in a very accelerated way because you have been unlocked by the shock from your previous reality, from any degree of complacency, from any degree of assuming that things would simply move along as they always have. This can be used in a very powerful, transformative way. Look at it like this by analogy, if you are willing to do so. Let's say you are in a little boat, a kayak, whatever you wish to be in, and you're floating down a placid river, all nice and slow and peaceful. And then suddenly you hit some rapids. If you understand how to ride the rapids, you can actually navigate your way through them and get downstream much, much faster than otherwise you would have just floating along on the placid river. So this is an opportunity for you to experience a few rapids. And yes, there may be some bumps. But if you can understand how to stay in the state of being you prefer and allow yourself to ride those rapids with skill and vision, you will find that this is actually something, because of the unlocking, that has given you an opportunity to move very quickly, to accelerate very quickly in the direction of the reality you prefer. This is, at this nexus point right now, one of the major nexus points of the splitting into different parallel realities. One of the things you have been given the opportunity to see very clearly is that, in a sense, you are living in two different countries. Yes? Yes. Almost evenly divided. So the idea is, now that those who have, in your terms, quote-unquote, won your election, they now feel capable of allowing themselves to be clear about who they are, because they feel safe in doing so. And so this allows you the opportunity to see exactly who they are, and nothing is now hidden, because they think they are free to express themselves no matter in what way may seem non-preferential to you. It gives you a better idea, a much clearer idea, because they are no longer hiding their ideas. They are no longer hiding their perspective, their points of view. No matter how vibrationally incompatible you may find them, they have now exposed themselves for who they are. And thus, this is part of what we have said about you're getting everything out on the table very, very transparently, so that you can decide what kind of a world you actually prefer, and they can decide what kind of a world they actually prefer. I will tell you that there are still going to be a few surprises, even for them, because the person that they have elected won't necessarily be always doing things the way they thought he would. So this is far from over for a lot of reasons. This is a process that's going to continue for quite some time, and you will see that it will fluctuate quite radically from time to time in a variety of different directions. But nevertheless, what you are really seeing, what you're actually experiencing for the first time more consciously, is literally two side-by-side realities that are reflective of actual parallel reality splitting. So, this is your opportunity to remain in a vibratory state, not be scared, not go negative, not in any way, shape, or form react, but respond with that positive vibration, so that you can ride that wave that is now happening and allow yourself to ride it, as we said, in balance, with skill, in the direction that it can propel you toward what you prefer much, much more quickly. This shock wave is literally that, a wave of shock, and it can propel you very rapidly in the direction that you prefer if you use it that way. So please, remain in the state of being that you prefer. You have many symbols that are inherent within this particular event that has happened now that are very similar to other events that have happened in terms of their shock ability. As has been pointed out already, you have a very similar energy to what you experienced on what you call 9/11, and it was repeated on 11/9. So you're getting the mirror image and coming out the other side. You have the anniversary at this time of a wall that was torn down and people talking about building another one. So again, you see the polarity and the paradox in these events if you know how to look at them. You know how to read the symbols. Know what kind of a permission slip this is for you. So do not despair. Do not give in and match the vibration of fear and negativity. See this as an opportunity that others may not see, and lead the way by staying in the state of being that you prefer, so you can, by example,
demonstrate to others how they can also ride this wave. There is no need for the negative reaction. You're only matching the frequency of what you fear. Allow yourself to see this in a very different way, for it is a very powerful, magical opportunity that has unlocked you from an old reality. It is also, in many ways, acted as a safety valve for many kinds of tensions that were existing on your planet. We understand that there may be many other countries on your world that are reacting also with fear to this particular kind of change. But at the same time, if you look around, the ones that were actually, in a sense, most dangerous to you have now actually relaxed their stance because they feel that the person now in charge of your country is someone they can actually speak with. And whether that becomes true or not, the idea is the tensions in the areas that need to be brought down have now gone down. So things have actually smoothed out in those areas because they are of like mind. Now, it may not necessarily be a mind that most of you prefer, but the very fact that they think they can communicate breaks the tension. Do you understand? So you have to look at the results on a big picture, a big scale, to understand all the ramifications of what's going on here. But you will not be able to see them in a positive way unless you yourself choose to be in a positive state first. Because remember, you cannot perceive what you're not the vibration of. So by staying in a positive state, you will get more opportunity to have inspirations and big picture perspectives that will allow you to see what we're telling you very clearly. That this was an opportunity to unlock from the status quo, because it is one of the most important things that needs to happen in a civilization that's about to have contact with extraterrestrial societies in an open way, is that you get unlocked from the status quo. You have to drift free of all you assumed was normal, of all you took for granted, of the society you thought you were living in, to actually drift over into another vibration of another reality that contains the potential for extra-dimensional contact. And now you are drifting in that limbo. You are unlocked from the status quo. You now are open to the idea that, well, anything can happen now. And that is exactly the state of being you need to be in to actually experience open contact with us and other extraterrestrial and extra-dimensional beings. So this is working in your favor. And it is, in that sense, a gift you have been given, even though it may not necessarily have been the intention of those that gave it to you. Because things work in mysterious ways, do they not? And you can always see the positive and the negative and choose which one you prefer. Now, I will share something else with you. That also is a precursor and leading up to the idea of change in many areas on your planet, but specifically we are still going to focus on your particular country. Many of you have known for quite some time that our ship is above the area you call Sedona, Arizona. Yes? Yes. And we have talked about the idea that we are connected to the vortex, a very powerful vortex in that area. And we have been pumping energy and vibrations into that vortex so that it can contain more potential for discovering yourself, more potential for awakening into who you truly are, more potential for extraterrestrial contact. Now, here's the trick. As you watched on your election night your country maps, yes, and you had your blue states and your red states popping up and you're not ready to count yet. And as you started to see more and more and more red, yes, more blue states previously flipping to red, yes, and you saw a huge swath of red through the middle of your country, yes, And then you saw one little arm of red come over and go down to what? Arizona. Now there's a link to that vortex for all those that consider themselves to be in the red areas, and the vibration of our energy can now begin to slowly leak and follow that path up into the red areas and start to blossom in all the little vortices that exist in those areas, so that unbeknownst to a lot of people, they will suddenly be bathed in an energy they quite not figure out what's happening. To change their mind, to change their perspective, they will be given an opportunity to have more of that energy by creating a connective link for themselves in that way to that vortex without even knowing what they're doing. But we know what's going on, and we know how to take advantage of that and allow our energy to blossom in those areas. Doesn't mean someone has to pay attention to it, but it affords more opportunity for that energy, because they're all considering themselves now to be united. And they will look at that pathway in their own way, but they will not see the underground pathway that we see for that energy to leak into all of those areas. So that will also help promote the idea of opening up minds, opening up and changing perspectives, and allowing them to reconsider and see more clearly the choices that they are making. And you may see some very surprising changes going on in that area over the years to come, between your year now and your year of 2020. With respect to the idea of contact, with respect to the idea of the disclosure of the presence of us and other extraterrestrials, not saying it's going to happen, so please do not misquote us. But there is a higher probability now of disclosure actually happening. Because what do you have in the position of power? Someone who simply does what they think is cool and makes them look good. Hey, what if I told everyone that the aliens are real? Wouldn't that make me stand out above everyone else? Narcissist that I am. So there is actually a potential for someone who is typically a loose cannon to let something slip that they think might actually make them look good, regardless of what others may actually prefer them to do or not do. So the idea is, even though they may think they can rely on their candidate, they're going to get a few surprises. Now, the idea is to also allow yourself to remember that the affiliations of that person are actually much broader than you may think. They have actually come from an opposite political party. Yes? You understand the background? And they are allowing cracks to happen through which other kinds of energies and interests will come in that, again, many may think will serve their agenda, but may be surprised to find will actually serve an opposite agenda in time. So this has actually allowed them, in their complacency, to open up cracks and not pay attention to certain things that are leaking in. Such as the fact, and what may seem to be extremely paradoxical to you, that the focus on the election was so intense that those opposed to legalizing marijuana didn't know what hit them. Weren't paying attention. And suddenly, that passed. And so you see the ideas working for you in a variety of ways, kind of like what you call your little magic trick of the cups and the balls. And where's the ball now? Where's the ball now? Where's the ball now? Oh, look over here. Oops, you missed it. So again, there are opportunities that are here for you that are peppered throughout this experience, this event. You just know how to look and how to find them by staying in the positive state. And with regard to the idea of disclosure, you will find that at this time, whether it's this individual or not, things have been accelerated in a different way, along a different path. Doesn't mean it was the same path as before, but it may actually allow for more probabilities and more opportunities to open up, more cracks to form in the status quo, so that things may crumble in such a way as to allow for new things to come in much more quickly than before, than the status quo itself may have actually allowed. We're not talking here about the idea of the integrity or lack thereof of any individual or who you may have preferred because they represent something that you are in alignment with. We're talking about the idea of exactly how your society needs to change to open up to new things that you all say you would like to happen, that you would prefer to have happen. And sometimes those things can only happen in the most unexpected ways when things do create a shock wave within your consciousness so that you're finally willing to truly let go of the status quo and realize that you really can't predict for yourselves a lot of the things that are going to be happening. All bets are off for you. And this is a sparkling opportunity because now you can decide in this limbo state really where the ball on the wheel you're spinning will fall. But the idea of the analogy of roulette is that now there are two balls on the roulette wheel that represent the two different parallel realities. But the wheel is still spinning. They haven't really fallen yet. No matter how it may look, they haven't fallen yet. And when they do, you will see more and more and more acceleration in the split of the two realities, and more shifts and changes going on either side until they finally settle out and you really start to feel the drifting apart of those two realities. And with regard to disclosure, you will find that as the pathways are laid out now and as the probabilities have increased for alternate paths to such and to open contact, that sometime between now and certainly no later than the idea of 2025, some form of disclosure of our presence will occur. There is another demarcation point in your year of 2020. It might happen before, it might happen after. There are still many things in flux, many things in fluctuations that cannot be in any way, shape, or form predicted. All you need to know is that you have unleashed many more probabilities for you to take advantage of to allow yourself to ride that wave in the direction of what you prefer, if you will just learn to look at it that way. Is it a deal? Yes. All right. Then we thank you for allowing us to share this perspective with you. There will be more to come. And in return for the gift that you are giving us, we ask now, how may we be of service to you? You may begin with your questions if you wish.